Hi and welcome to another battle report. This is 2500 points between the arch enemy of the Dwarven hold versus my Kingdom of Equitaine. He wanted revenge because he have not yet beaten the knights in 9th age. So we got the game in. We roll up the diagonal deployment and to shortly go through his army. In that forest to the left, hiding, he have the Forge Wardens. They are not painted at all, so they are totally black and hide very well in that forest. Behind that, he have a Steam Copter, another unit of 10 Forge Warden. None of those have any command group at all, which he will regret later. Then he have behind his line a Steam Bomber. Then you have a unit of Kingsguard with a Equitaine general in it and a Runesmith. Then a cannon, a Greybeard, BSP and a Runesmith. Of course you have full command on those two big blocks. Then you got a Volley Seekers, a unit of 13 Marksmen, Steam Copter, and in his hand to the right he's hiding a unit of Scouting Rangers. Well, for my own deployment, as you can see, this list resembled a lot the army I brought against my two last game. Something have changed, but otherwise stayed as much as I like this kind of build. So from the left, almost out of the picture, I got a unit of 6 skirmisher, a musician and champion, knights on the quest. Then a unit of 6 knights aspirant with full command, a unit of peg knights, not skirmisher, in the forest because they are forest ridden. I don't have to take dangerous terrain test and it give me some good cover. I got a Castellan next to them, also in cover. Then I got in my backline, I got a Treb, a unit of 40-ish peasant levy with 2 damsels. One with beast and one with heaven. Then I got in front of them, I got a Duke BSB in a realm lance. Not too much kitted out for the character. I think the BSB have 1-up reroll and the Lord have 1-up 4-up ward. And then I got a unit of 6 knights of the quest, a skirmisher, musician and champion. Really like that build because it's awesome. A Castellan hiding behind that realm gates, which we place at impassable terrain. Another Treb hiding in my backline, a unit of knights aspirant, and finally a other Castellan. Well, the Dwarven holds gets the first turn. So here is his movement. He pushes up his 2 blocks a bit to get his protect his war machine. And his Steam Copter gets out of sight of my 2 knight units. His Iron Forge Warden pushes up a bit, and you can see here I made a mistake with my knights aspiring. I should have pivoted them a bit so they could see that Steam Copter, but yeah, done is done. Shit happened. On the other flank, I got the same problem. I didn't pivot my knights aspiring enough to see his Steam Copter, so I cannot judge it with the knights aspirant. But you can see here he pushes up his seekers into that swamp, but otherwise stay back. In the shooting phase, his marksmen and rangers take out the first of the Castellan, but otherwise not a lot happens for the Dwarven hold first turn. You can see the knights aspirant to the left have lost 2 of its knights, but nothing more serious than that. So for my first turn, what I did, I pushed up. I'm still well out of short range for him, in good short range for myself. I push up a Castellan in the middle, so he will have to deal with it, otherwise it will just charge his cannon. So either if you want to send forward one of his blocks, or use waste his what they called iron forge wardens fire or something to take him down. And here my Knights of the Quest moves behind that wall to get some cover when I will charge his Forge Warden next turn. Well, magic, he uses his scroll to stop a comet from striking down in his line. Otherwise, one treb misfire rolls a 6, no shot this time, and the other one scattered way off. So for the Dwarven hold, second turn, you can see here he pushes up his steam copters towards my treb. In the middle, he done not much with his line. He tightened the gap between his Kingsguard and Greybeards to stop my lances from charging through that into the cannon. I think my Castellan can still make a wheel to make it into that cannon, if I'm not mistaken totally. But in the end it didn't even matter, because apparently Greybeard can have throwing axes, but fortunately it's only BS3 now instead of 4, he told me, so they only managed to do 1 wound, and he had to wasted some Forge Warden to kill that Castellan. And yeah, the cannon, I hate the cannon. Hero crap good. He hit, and of course it's bounced, because it's still, even though I love that they actually made it harder to hit with cannon, it still can be so brutal for its cost. It take 2 Peg Knights. I failed Warship both time. It does ordnance damage each time, so it actually auto kills a Peg Knight. So, and then came the Orb volley gun, if I'm not mistaken, and killed another one. So I'm only 3 remaining, but it's actually a blessing in disguise. You will see closer in my turn. Also, here's other fire warden to kill one of my Knights Aspirant, because the questing Knights were Knights of the Quest, I should say, were behind a wall and skirmish, so it was hard for him to hit them. And yeah, that's his turn. So well, for Kingdom Equitaine, turn 2. Here comes the charge. First, he killed 3 of my Peg Knights, so I only have a 3 wide frontage, which meant that I can flew over his Kingsguard and land in a charge towards his cannon, which was very nice to get that bullshit war machine out of the way. I used my Knight's Aspirant to chaff up his Kingsguard and Greybeards, because my errant Knight's Aspirant and the questing Knights slams into his Seekers. If I cannot kill him this turn, I will be able to kill him in his turn, and that's also good, because then I can just reform and charge his organ gun and steam copter and whatever you have back there. And yeah, the Knights of the Quest also charge his Forge Warden, because I could actually get out of sight of his other Forge Warden unit, and he is in a forest, so he is not steadfast, and I am steadfast because we are in a forest. So that's nice, and I will probably just grind him down in a couple of rounds, because whatever dwarf you have, they are also very brutal in combat, unfortunately. So that was the Bretonnian Kingdom Equitaine charges. Well, I also did this charge here with my Castellan, because hopefully I get a charge. Potentially I can break them, but I believe I cannot. So what I did here is I charged him and put him into his corner outmost flank, because I think he will break me in my turn, because I'm with Egypt 5 or 6 maybe, and hopefully he was failed at the ship 10 or 9. I don't remember if it's 10 or 9 the Dwarven holds have, and he will just pursue with me off the board, and which will give me my trebs another turn of firing. Magic, I did get one steam copter that was not in combat, so it could not fly. He stopped some other spell instead. And one of my treb, as you can see in this picture, explodes from a misfire, the other one just gathered off. Well, as I told you, dwarf are brutal in combat, so I could not break him, and I reform into this 5 wide guys, because I want to get out of sight of his other, what's they called, Forge Warden. And this was very shocking. My Castell actually won this combat, and his steamcopter fled. I did not catch him, unfortunately, just stopped before that lava pit, and he jumped right over it without suffering any casualties. Well, here we go. In this combat, the Peg Knights of course wiped out his cannon, and the Questing Knights and the Knights Aspirant kill all, but I think you have 1 or 2 dudes left, unfortunately. Yeah, so he sticks. Yeah, unfortunately he will get potential flank charge on my Knights Aspirant with his warrior next turn, but yeah, that's nothing to do about that. Well, in his turn he really didn't move much, but he did manage to rally this steamcopter, and with his rangers he shot down my Castellant. Here we keep grinding. I don't do much to him because he have weapon skill 5, which is ridiculous for infantry shooting units to have, but he does. And on this side he charged with his marksman in flank of the aspiring knights. I think he must have killed them all. I killed this slayer, and he get a flank charge on my Knights of the Quest, and so they are not in too bad position, to be honest with you, because he Kingsguard charges my aspiring knights, and he shoots weirdly enough to overrun, which is, I don't know, he broke away from his line. So now we have a unit of greybeards sitting ducks with a peg knights in the ass and the realmlands in the front for my next turn, and that's, yeah, I don't understand. But anyway, that's the dwarf turn 3. Well, yeah. So here we go. You can see in the corner of this right corner of this picture that I slam my realmlands and my peg knights into his greybeards. He told me that he had the rune of slowness. I don't remember what it's called in the 9th age, to be honest, but the one that subtracted d6 from your charge. But I didn't need too much. I think I needed a 13, 14 with 2d6 plus 8. I need to roll a 5 with 2 dice. That's kind of risky, to be honest. But anyway, shit happens. I get some awesome charge into his greybeard. Magic was good. I did manage to get the signature from Path of Wilderness onto my Realmland, so they are now strength 4, T4 in base, which is good. and the one remaining treb managed to throw a rock straight to his steam bomber, and that one exploded. And you can see here after combat I did manage to blow those greybeards away. He did not really stand a chance. He took down one realm, Knights of the Realm, but yeah, nothing more. Questing Knights still grinding in those two combats, but yeah, that's it for Brett's turn 3, I think, or maybe 4. So for the Dwarvenhold's movement, his King Guards turn around to face my Knight lines, and yeah, I did manage to do combat reform with the Quest Knights against his Marksmen, and that's his movement over here. His Steam Kapta managed to take out the Treb. Over here for Brett turn 4, I run away. I'm up in points, and my Realm Knights and Peg Knights just run the hell away from his King's Guards, because even if his dwarf is still slow, he can have my Knights of the Quest. I think I'm still pretty much up in points because I took one of his big blocks and will hopefully grind down his Forge Warden down in that forest. And I did in combat actually manage to ground down his Forge Warden, and he fled, and I capture him. So for his final turn, it was kind of didn't really matter. He did go up here and spray some of the flame template on the peasant levy, killing some peasants. Doesn't really matter. I passed my panic check and all good over there. This is the last picture I have of the game. What happened here is he did actually charge in against the Quest Knights with his Rangers, and I did manage to win this combat. He had like 2 Rangers remaining and 1 or 2 Marksmen remaining, and they fled. I choose to not pursue in my turn, in his turn 5. And I reform to take out his organ gun because that was worth more point. I go in, I slaughter the organ gun, get flank charged by the Iron Drake. I don't think we even fought that combat because it really didn't matter, or we just stick around or something. I don't remember, but it ended up being a victory for the good guys. We did manage to take this, mostly thanks to his mistake of overrunning with his King's Guards, but yeah, everyone does mistakes, and it's for other player to use that to their advantage. I did some not so good placement in the deployment, for example, and he used that as well. So I still think the Dwarvenhold is brutal, but I think my grudge against the Dwarvenholds is from playing 8th edition a lot with my Britannians versus this archenemy Dwarf. It was horrible. So yeah, this is much better, even though I think the army in general it's undercosted for what it does, but it's much better. So if you have any comments, please write them below and I will try to answer them. Feel free to like and start subscribing if you want to see more of this.